For Marc Marquez, the 2025 Aragon Grand Prix wasn't just a win, it was a full circle moment, a command performance, a surgical demolition job wrapped in calm precision, carried out under intense internal pressure. It was a throwback to the old Marquez, but with the added weight of knowing how many times things had slipped away on Sundays this year. And even though he brushed off the idea of its significance post-race, make no mistake, this one mattered. The stats speak volumes. Marc Marquez topped every single session: FP1, Friday practice, FP2, qualifying, the sprint race, warm-up, and then the Grand Prix. That's a level of weekend dominance not seen in a decade, since 2014's German GP, when Marc himself achieved the feat on a Repsol Honda. Now, he's done it again, this time on a Ducati. But this wasn't merely a statistical achievement, it was psychological. After throwing away likely wins at both COTA and Jerez, and crashing out while leading at Silverstone, only salvaged by a red flag, Marquez had more on the line at Aragon than just 25 points. From Thursday onward, he subtly hinted at pressure. Not from the championship standings, but from himself. When 6-7 laps remained, I started to think about those mistakes, how to manage the situation, Marquez revealed. But then I was looking at the lap time, and I was riding in 1 minute 47 seconds low without full concentration. Then I decided to increase the speed to be focused again. That internal battle, for focus, for redemption, spurred him on to deliver his fourth Sunday victory of 2025. And it wasn't even close. The final gap may have been just 1.107 seconds, but that doesn't tell the real story. He had over 2 seconds in hand with a few laps to go and coasted across the finish line. The performance was so calculated it was eerie. And that was precisely the point. Marquez arrived at Aragon carrying a heavy load, not in terms of physical fitness or external expectations, but in mental scars. Each of his major Sunday crashes this year has followed a similar pattern, pushing just a fraction too hard while leading or overtaking. COTA was the worst of the bunch. He hit a damp curb and crashed out while leading. Jerez was another, tumbling while trying to pass Pecco Bagnaia. At Silverstone, a crash was mercifully wiped from the record by a red flag, but the damage was done mentally. At Aragon, though, he flipped the narrative. In lap after lap, Marquez used his used tyre pace, his greatest strength this season, to stretch the field. He set fastest laps on laps 7 to 9 and again on laps 11 to 12, before capping it off with a 1 minute 46.705 seconds on lap 20, a new race lap record by over a second. His pace wasn't just untouchable, it was surgical. This victory was mandatory in our garage and in myself, he admitted post-race. Why? Because I lost 50 points in races where I was leading. That kind of mistake puts a lot of pressure on yourself. You know you can win, but you need to prove it. The Ducati paddock was a mix of relief and tension at Aragon. On one end of the spectrum was Marc, calm and calculated, extracting the maximum from his GP25. On the other, Pecco Bagnaia seemed more adrift than ever until a technical Hail Mary changed his weekend. Pecco's sprint race was a disaster. No front-end feel, brake lockups, and a hopeless 12th place finish. The frustration reached Ducati's top brass. Team boss Davide Tardozzi voiced it plainly. The team was sick of hearing the same complaints with no solution in sight. Then came Sunday morning. Pecco's engineer took a risk, larger front brake discs, something they'd never tried before. It worked. By applying less brake pressure and getting better deceleration, Pecco rediscovered control, and with that came confidence. The early laps of the Grand Prix were filled with tight battles with Pedro Acosta, who was the only rider using a hard front tyre. Acosta dived into Turn 1 and Turn 12 with aggressive overtakes, but Pecco held firm. That fight cost him precious time against Alex Marquez, but it also proved Pecco wasn't done yet. Alex's riding was perfect, Pecco admitted. Even when I found my rhythm, There was no way through. The numbers showed just how close the top three were. Pecco's best lap, 1 minute 46.773 seconds, was within a whisker of Alex's, 1 minute 46.843 seconds. And their average pace? Pecco was only 0.119 seconds off Marc's. But again, Marc wasn't pushing flat out. He was controlling, managing, and executing. Pecco may have found a fix, but whether it's enough to reclaim his lost title is another matter entirely. With Marquez now 93 points ahead, Pecco's season is on life support. Behind Marquez's dominance lies a quieter subplot, one involving Ducati's factory engineering direction. At Le Mans and Silverstone, Marquez trialled different specs, possibly including a revised chassis. The results were underwhelming. At Aragon, he reverted. It's true that in Le Mans and Silverstone, I was riding with a different spec, but here I come back because I want the same as the others, Marquez cryptically said on Saturday. He later clarified that his bike was the same as other GP24 riders, like Alex Marquez and Fermín Aldeguer, although that's not entirely accurate. The factory bike has a distinct engine and rear ride height device. But what mattered was the feeling, one that Marquez said reminded him of pre-season and the first races. Then here I came back, I felt again the same feeling as I had in the pre-season and as I had in the first races. If Ducati's test at Jerez backfired, Aragon was the reset. Monday's follow-up test will offer even more clarity, but for now, Marquez has what he needs: comfort, control, and confidence. Though he tried to play it cool post-race, the cracks in Marquez's calm narrative revealed the truth. No, I don't think so that this win was significant, because we started already in a very good way from Thailand to Jerez. Then it's true that Le Mans, especially Silverstone, we missed the way a bit, but we understood why. That we missed the way is the closest Marquez came to acknowledging how rocky May and early June were. And in the broader context of the 2025 championship, Aragon may just prove to be the most pivotal weekend yet. It didn't just secure him a 32-point championship lead, the largest of the season. It re-established mental control. Not over the grid, he never lost that, but over himself. The ghosts of COTA, Jerez and Silverstone exorcised. The question marks about Ducati's direction, at least momentarily erased. The pressure of needing to deliver, satisfied, if not silenced. This victory was mandatory. For me, for the garage, for the whole team. It's a rare admission of vulnerability from Marquez, one that explains exactly why this win mattered so much more than he let on. Aragon 2025 will go down as one of Marc Marquez's most meaningful wins, not because of what it did to the standings, but because of what it restored: confidence, momentum, identity. He may not have wanted to label it as such, but in every sense, this win was mandatory. And if this is the version of Marquez we see for the rest of the season, the 2025 title could be decided long before Valencia. The rest of the grid has been warned. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for new upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.